Bumblebee, 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 bumblebee. It's a warm-up. It's not very good. My voice is a little jacked, if you haven't heard. Been battling some congestion. It's not out there in the world. Still got my witty sense of humor, though. I don't know how I kept it. I wanted to take a moment and do what Weege says. I haven't done one in months, and I feel bad that I've dropped the ball on that. I'm actually getting ready to launch several different podcasts, and I'm not going to announce it just yet, like in its entirety, but I'll have some info up soon. It's going to be all through my reggae-ish brand, reworking the website and stuff. So lots going on. I've got a show coming up on the 23rd with Cashed Out down in Brews Ale House in Pueblo, one of my favorite places to play. Great venue, great people. But that's not why I'm here today. Today I'm here to talk about change and adversity. As an artist, I think we all have to deal with challenges all the time. As music artists, creative artists, painters, whatever. We all deal with it. We're always pivoting. We're always adjusting our path to success, and it's just that these are all really crucial components that we have to get comfortable with, especially in the music industry. Like, we make plans and we try to execute them, and sometimes shit don't go right. Broken budgets, change in personnel, a lot of things can happen, and you have to be able to deal with, the lack of resources and the lack of time, and you got to adjust your course. So ever since COVID, I've dealt with more changes than I'd personally like. And I'd like to, say the tough thing and be like, there's nothing I can't handle because I grind. And I've made my speeches about how grinding is actually unhealthy. But I can say finally, even though I'm in a more favorable and comfortable situation with my music right now, it's definitely better than it was in 2020. I do have a great team, great bandmates, great fans, a lot of music in the pipeline. But I'm always one of those people trying to adjust and tweak it and make it better. I'm always trying to figure out how to do it a little better, how to fine-tune it, or adjust on the fly, which is what I have to do a lot. So when you deal with things in a reactive way, you get a little overwhelmed. And I'm not going to lie, I think it's affected physical and mental health for me, so I've had my challenges. But when you deal with those changes, you find yourself reflecting as an artist. And for me as a songwriter, I often have this internal conflict. It's my identity as a musician, and I'll be frank, and my name isn't Frank, by the way. Sorry, I just watched Airplane the other night, and, surely you can't be serious. But I'll be straightforward, because I'm always straightforward. I don't have to be in this instance. I'm always honest. My happiness is always going to be predicated on the studio, songwriting, production, collaboration. Those are things I really love. I'm going through a lot of change right now. I'm rebuilding my studio. I'm adding a whole drum room next door to this room that I'm in right now. I'm building a control room, booth, and a drum room, and I'm investing money I probably shouldn't spend, but I need these tools. Where was I going with that? I enjoy the studio a lot more than I enjoy anything else, and that's not saying I don't enjoy live performance, but I'm definitely in my zone, in my space when I'm recording and writing. But I love to perform live. It's always been that way for me, and I think having a lot of challenges this last year, especially with health and just situations I just can't fully avoid. I realize I know what I need to do to be I'm going to clear my throat a lot. I know what I need to do to be successful, and that's to name my monster. I used to say that to my kids when they were scared to go to bed because of a monster or some bad dream. And I'd say, name your monster, and now you can call it out by its name. But for me, it's to define what success is. So I'm going to speed up here a little bit because I'm lagging in my thoughts. But I'm already ranting for 5 minutes. So I get this email from, quote unquote, a record label over the weekend. It wasn't actually a label. It was a marketing company trying to squeeze $10 out of me to get submissions and auditions so they can push my content to their network. I won't quote that, but dare I call it a scam? No, it's not a scam because, believe it or not, it's a legitimate business model. I wouldn't spend my money on these services personally. I wanted to touch on a few things about it, though, because I heard this from a former AR and a president at a big label. And this is on TikTok. I follow his TikTok, and it resonated with me. He said, all the scumbag VPs, all the, record label execs of those, late 90s, early 2000s who drew up these horrible record deals, screwed a lot of artists. They all had to figure out a new way to make money. And when the industry changed from the whole digital download, from CDs to digital downloading, and then it's changed again to streaming, and that's the emphasis now is streaming and, user-generated content, it became coaching or marketing. It became the form of marketing, and that's what they sell, this knowledge, right? I remember the key words. I'm paraphrasing, but it was, obviously scumbags, he said. But he said, separate you from your money. And all they want to do is separate you as this vulnerable, unknowing artist from the money that you're barely earning as it is as an artist. They want to take money from your pocket and sell you bullshit, sell you phony dreams. Things that don't even apply in the modern age. Some of their tactics are outdated. They have no idea what they're talking about. Or they're repackaging coaching from other people. So be careful with these scams. Be careful out there. I shouldn't call them a scam, but be careful with these schemes. To all the artists out there, you can't replace hard work and smart work. And are there ways to, what is it? AB, up, down, select, start? I can't remember the freaking code. There's cheat codes in this industry, but oftentimes they come at a high price. And you don't want to cheat your way up. You don't want to just pay your way up. You want to be smart. You want to become a smart business person just as you would in any other market, whatever you're doing, whether you're selling donuts or you're fucking selling real estate. Be business savvy. Don't rely on others to do it all for you, because you will be, in the end, you will be sorry you spent that kind of money on things that you can do yourself. That's not saying don't hire people. It's just saying learn how to do it yourself first and then teach people and then hire them and protect your brand. The lesson for me is before you sign contracts, think about your overall goals before you, go out into the world and sign your creativity away, Don't get sold on things that they can't actually deliver. If it sounds too good to be true, it's likely not right for you. Even if what they're selling is legit or not. If they're selling something that's actually pretty good, but you feel in your gut like, I don't know if that's going to actually work for me. Because everyone's always going to think they know what's best for you and how to market your brand. But really what it comes down to is trial and error. The more you fuck up, the more you learn how to not make mistakes. It's not the, most scalable way to be successful, but trial and error is great. This is a tough industry to be in. I think that can apply to any creative industry, but with music, it's extremely tricky now. Ultimately, we need to be diligent about our art and our creativity. It's a right here, right now culture. It's unhealthy, actually, if you ask me, but it's turned into, oh wow, that song was good. What's next? Keep cranking out these tunes, man. Keep cranking out these tunes. And are you really focused on quality? Those are all the things you got to consider, right? So it's good to be staged and meticulous and, plan and strategic, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But we're always going to deal with people who prey on artists as an artist. I just feel like that culture right now, got to get on playlists, got to play this certain game, is not conducive to creative work. But unfortunately, this is the music business. So you have to decide what you're happy with. This is where I go back to success. What does success mean to you? There are artists out there who are taking control of their lives. They're dictating their own terms and value. And what it all boils down to is, what are you comfortable with? What are you deeming as success? Everyone will have a different path to success. There's no one way to do it. We all have unique challenges. We all have setbacks. Mine, for instance, is touring, live shows. I've struggled with it. And I'm accepting that. I've accepted that maybe I'm just not cut out for it, or maybe the timing isn't right, maybe the finances aren't right. You have to figure that out. Because it's easy to get excited about something and then realize, oh shit, that was more expensive than I thought it'd be. Or, oh shit, I might have bitten off more than I can chew. So I realized I need to put in some more things in place before I take any kind of steps as an artist. I'm putting a lot more emphasis on video content and becoming more of a visual music artist. And really defining my brand over the next year. That's my goal before anything else. I'm still going to play live shows, of course, but the emphasis of trying to get across the country right now, it doesn't scale for me. There are people out there who can take those risks and live a certain life, but I don't have that luxury. I shouldn't call it a luxury, but I don't have that freedom to do that. I got a family to feed, responsibilities beyond myself, and that's something that's always going to be there for me. And I've always considered that, I know my family would fully support me if I had to leave for 6 weeks and go on tour, but I don't know that I'd want to. I don't know that it's even necessary anymore. And what I'm learning from people I've talked to in the same industry is that you don't have to tour. But you can if you want to, and if that's your model, you want to take the Grateful Dead approach and be road warriors. It works. It's proven it works. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice. Expendable song, Sacrifice. That's really drives home what I'm talking about. And you have to figure out where you can sacrifice and what you can sacrifice. But that's something that's always going to be there for me. It's not like some kind of burden either. Like, my family is my reason for doing all this. Music for me is therapy. I actually enjoy spending time with my family too, so it's a win-win. But again, not something ideal for a touring musician, my situation at least. Sorry, I hate clearing myself. This congestion sucks. But I've come to terms with the facts, and maybe my focus is always going to be heavily on production, studio, songwriting, and the occasional festival, local show, be main support for upcoming artists or touring artists, and I'm comfortable with that. I would love to tour one day. It's always going to be in view of something I'd love to do, but I don't think I'm ready yet. And I've been doing this a long time. I've toured before, so I actually know what I'm in for. You know what I mean? I've toured with 880 South, and it was hard. But you're always going to receive criticism in this industry. You have to have thick skin. That's what this is all about. And, there's always going to be people who are going to make suggestions, people who think you aren't doing it right, or you have to be comfortable at the end of the day with who you are, what your personal goals are. And that goes for any business. What you get out of it. What do you get out of music if you're an artist, you're a songwriter? That's what you got to think about. I get a lot of pleasure in creating ideas. I write a lot of music, and I can write it quickly. I could turn around a full song in 6 hours, no bullshit. Probably less if I really wanted to. But anyway, I'm not saying every song's a Grammy hit, but I can crank out a song pretty damn fast. I've got formulas, ideas, creativity, talent, skill, experience, all those things apply. But everyone's going to think they know a better way for you to do things. It just means they care. Don't take criticism personally, even though it feels personal. Sometimes someone gave me an opinion the other night. I never asked for it, but hey, to each their own. I appreciate the feedback. Try not to be closed-minded about things. Occasionally, it also just means there's other people who are preying on you in some manner and want to take advantage of what you've already built. And they want to be involved in a way that makes them some kind of authority, in your creative work. I like to say that I'm thick-skinned because I grew up, in a half Italian, half Peruvian, Latino home. So getting picked on is like a rite of passage. It's going to be hard, though, because, that's obviously not healthy culture, but I'm used to it. Like I can take a joke, I can take criticism, I can be critiqued and not get offended. But to get in my head, fuck with my feelings, it's not easy because I'm used to it. But I'm also pretty easygoing. But I'm still human. And at the end of the day, I'm an artist, and what I create as an artist is subjective to every listener out there. I take all the feedback, all the comments to heart because this is my art. This is what I'm putting out. But just keep in mind that, and this is for every artist, that you're an artist and you're still a human being. And in my situation, I work for myself and then the people on my team. I don't create music to cater to anyone or any specific genre. I don't write music specifically just to get charted, I don't write it to get playlisted or radio, even though I've been told I write radio-friendly music or, catchy hooks or whatever. I'm just trying to be genuine to myself. Occasionally, when I write something pretty radio-friendly, I'm pretty proud of that, because, I would love to be a pop writer who makes money, putting together my own formulas. I definitely have a formulated sound, and I'm comfortable saying that. I don't know that it falls under reggae rock. I don't know that it falls under reggae music. I don't know that it falls under anything. It's just music, and I'm happy with it. I guess it's alternative. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Anyway, I write songs, and it's mostly this culmination of ideas and concepts that I've put together or that I've created or that I've reimagined from artists that have influenced me over time. And sometimes, working with collaborative songwriters, we come up with some crazy, unique ideas, and I love to collaborate. That's like what I'm passionate about. But it's tricky, while I'm, is the word ambiguous right here? I don't know. While I'm not, tied to one genre, and I'm hard to put a pin on, I fall deeply into this like Americanized reggae scene, reggae rock, whatever you want to call it. I call it reggae-ish. And I feel like my old band AA South was a big role player in the early days, in the late 90s, early 2000s, in helping establish that. I feel like we were pioneers in that. And I mean, I'm not the one who actually said that, but now I use that all the time because I'm like, yeah, I guess we were. There weren't a lot of artists in NorCal at the time, just us and the Expandables, maybe Clear Conscience, a few others. So I take great pride in that. I still write for myself. That hasn't changed. I wrote like this when I started in the Floppy Rods. I wrote like this in AA South, and I wrote like this in Weege. And I still write like this. And it's my music is this selfish expression, as I call it, that I create to ease back my anxieties, my darkness, my anger issues that I used to have. I live and breathe this shit. It's literally my therapy. It's how I function. So music is art. I write to impress myself. If I happen to make a few admirers along the way, then I'm doing something right. In my mind, I'm doing something right, and I'm content with my success. I'm happy whether I have 100 fans or 100,000 fans. I just feel extremely lucky to have people who believe in me, and that's fans, friends, family, and I'm grateful for that. The numbers aren't important to me right now, and that probably scares a lot of people that I work with, but that's just the truth. Like, the numbers will get there, and the living proof of that is 880 South just pulling 30 to 40,000 streams a month with zero marketing, with zero freaking releases in almost a decade, with nothing behind it other than a legacy we left. And technically AA South is still together, so who knows, we might be dropping something soon. What was I gonna say? I have some notes here, but I just feel extremely lucky. The numbers aren't important to me, but I'd rather just have people and those who believe in me as I am, and not be focused on the image of what they think I should be or the image of what other artists are doing. I'm not doing it for that. I could care less what all the big artists are doing. I respect it. I'm happy for a lot of the big artists because they're making it, and I respect that. And I love that, and it's good for everyone. No matter how large or small my successes are, I don't spend days keeping tabs on the rest of the genre. And I don't sit in a pool of envy, I wondering why I didn't make it. I know why I didn't make it. I made bad choices, but I'm still making it in my mind. but I'm just not out there keeping up with the Joneses. I'm trying to level up on myself. Each time I go out there, I put music out. I'm trying to do better than I did last time. I'm trying to outdo myself. I'm trying to be better than the last version of Weege, the last version of AA South. So I've got over 2 decades of experience in that, and when I have setbacks, I have great bounce backs. Bounce backs, is that a word? I don't even know. But I bounce back, and the same goes with my live performance. It's like when I started performing in the late 90s, whether I was performing at the Catalyst in front of like 1,000 people, I think. I don't remember what that venue held. Or the Cactus, it was like 350 people, or the Independent, 400 people. Like, we'd always have great crowds, but sometimes we'd play this shithole bar in like San Luis Obispo for like 60 people or 20 people. And, you know, anyone who saw Floppy Rods or AA South in their prime, they would get that same show, that same energy on stage that we would never let off. It was all gas, no brakes. Shout out to Robert Salah. But, and I'm injecting that now with Weege and the People, with the new band. And we've gone through a lot of changes, lineups and stuff, and just methodology, and even some of our songwriting styles adjusted a little bit. So it's been challenging to create a vibe and a sound and be consistent, but we're getting there. It's gonna take probably the rest of this fall to get where we want to be, but we're getting close. Anyway, I bring that same vibe to my songwriting, my studio, knowing that I will always put myself out there, exposed and vulnerable, you know, especially to opinions and suggestions and predators. There's a lot of predators in this freaking genre, in this industry. There'll always be people who prey on artists because they know we're thirsty for some level of success or some gratification, some milestone that says, we fucking did it, yeah, we're dope. And that applies to other artists too. There's artists in these genres that I play in that are fucking predators. And they will take full advantage of you and use you to the fullest they can use you and never call you back. It just happens. It's part of the fucking industry. It's unfortunate. So I'm here to tell you, and let me wrap it up now, is that you can take your power back. Simply by setting reasonable goals and leveling up, you know, whether it's every 3 months to a year, you just want to level up on yourself, and you want to set reasonable goals, not freaking, I want a Grammy. Like, what does it take in a year to get to a Grammy? That's what you got to start thinking of, you know, these little micro goals to get to that macro goal. And whatever works best for you, but I'm okay with my success at this point, simply because I sleep really well at night knowing that I put in a great effort towards my craft, my artistry. I treat people respectfully. I'm not an asshole. I don't think I am. But you're always going to be the villain in someone's story. That's just life. Anyway, I sleep well knowing that. And if you want to know more about that, like, I actually wrote a song called Find Your Rhythm, which is exactly about that. You can go listen to that. Google it. Or Spotify, or whatever you do. Apple Music. Because that's what the song's about. You know, I say, I don't do it for their expectations, because I won't live with that kind of limitation. And that's how I live now. And I hope all artists can take that advice and do something with it. Be consistent, be honest with yourself, be true to yourself, know your value, and don't let anyone take advantage of you. That's it. Weege says, peace.
As long as you try, you